Hey, Joe here. If you've been following along on my project, ProStreet Eclipse, you'll know that I used aluminum fuel line for my feed and for my return. Well, it's now time for me to go ahead and put an AN flare, 37 degrees, on those lines so I can then fit them to my soft lines that go from my cell to the hard line and from the hard line to my fuel rail and regulator and associated components. The problem is, I don't know how to do that. So, I bought myself a 37 degree flare tool, and I'm going to do a quick test run on a piece of scrap tubing before I go ahead and flare the lines that are on my car. So here's a tutorial of me showing you how to do something I don't know how to do. So what I've got here is a leftover piece of fuel line that I've already cut with my tubing cutter here. That's a similar cut to what I'm going to have on the fuel lines that are installed on my car. So I'm going to start with this. I've purchased this tool from Speedway Motors. It was about $40 or so. And what you have to make sure when you're looking for one of these tools is that it fits the size fuel line that you have. So this one goes from 3/16 up through 1/2 inch to 5/8, and 5/8 is the size I need, since this 10 AN tubing is essentially 5/8. So I've watched some YouTube videos, much like you're doing right now, and what I found is that if you can go ahead and stick this tubing in this tool, what you're going to want to do is use something nice and straight and flat to make sure that this tubing is even with the top edge of this tool. Like that. So once you've got your fuel line installed in the tool and it's flush with the top, that's when you grab the other half of this tool. Go ahead and install this like so. And just tighten this up. It kind of centers itself on there. And then when you apply pressure here and really tighten this up, that's when you'll get your 37 degree flare that you need to mate with your AN fittings. That feels about good right there. I'll loosen this thing up and see what I came up with. So now that we know how the tool works for the most part, now is where you learn something very important. So if this line was attached to the car, we'd be in trouble because there'd be no way to put this on here. So I'll show you on this end of the tube what you need to do. First, you install the tube nut in this orientation, and then the tube sleeve. This will be what actually makes this connection work once this is flared. So now that this is installed, we'll go ahead and stick it in the tool and flare it. So once again, we're going to stick this in our tool like so. We're going to use this table to make sure that the fuel line is right where it needs to be. And we're going to try to put this thing back together like this and tighten it up. Once this is tight and we're flush here at the top of the tool, once again, we install this part of the tool, get it tightened up in here. Like I said before, it basically centers itself on there. Once it's snug, you can start going at it. Get it tight. You'll feel it when it's done its job. Getting a little snug here, and that's pretty much it right there. So once you get it there, go ahead and back this thing out. And go ahead and loosen your tool back up. There we have our flare, and with our tube nut in place and sleeve, we have our actual fitting here. And what you'll see is that this will actually line right up there. And now I have my hard fuel line with an adapter so I can screw the hose end that goes to my soft line from here onto the next point in the system. So there we are. Hopefully we both learned something, and I'll see you next time.
Put cheese on it.